Okay, so welcome back everyone. Now let's get started with the discussion on the topic of inheritance. Okay, inheritance is a very frequently used concept when it comes to object oriented programming. Okay, so let's put the heading inheritance, and within that specifically we'll talk about single inheritance. Okay, now if you learn the concept of inheritance in the same order that I'm going to tell, it will be very easy for you to understand. Okay, so there are multiple types of inheritance that we'll be studying, but the first one is single inheritance. Now first of all, what is inheritance? Inheritance is when you have a class which is taking all the properties of some other class and some add-on functionality to that. Okay, so what is the literal meaning of inheritance? Let's say there is a parent and there is a child, and when that child is born, that child inherits some properties of the parent, like the literal properties. Okay, properties in the sense the genes and all the behavioral characteristics, as well as the money property part. Okay, so this is what we say as inheritance. I have got this inherited from my parents, like that we say. Okay, so we follow the exact same terminologies when we are understanding the concept of inheritance in object oriented programming. So the class is called a parent class, and the class that inherits that particular class is called a child class. Okay, so I have taken a very practical example for you to help you understand. Okay, so let's take the concept of a library. Okay, or item. Okay, item can be a book, and book can have its own functionalities. Okay, so let's say I create a class item, okay, which is in general for any item. Okay, class item. Okay, and def underscore underscore init, which is for initializing that particular item. Let's say every item is having a title and the year of publish. Okay, every item is having a title and a year of publish. Okay, so you are in a library and you are having this item of book. Okay, perfect. Now let's set, so self dot title equals to title and self dot year of publish equals to year. Okay, you have specified the title and year of that particular book. Okay, now in a library, book is one type of item. Okay, in a library, book is one type of item. You have magazines as well, right? So I will say class book and bracket item. First of all, you will write it outside. Okay, but how is it understanding that it should have inheritance? Because of this parameter item. Okay, so class book and bracket item, that means class book inherits class items. So it will automatically take all the functionalities of the class item. It will automatically take all the attributes and all the functionalities of the class item. Okay, now so when I am having any object of book, okay, it will have what? It will also have title, it will also have year, and let's say it also has something called author. Okay, it also has something called author. Okay, now what I can do is I can write self.title, self.year, and self.author. But actually inheritance also helps us implement the idea of code reusability. Why code reusability? Because if you notice that year and title are already getting set by the parent class, so why I should do the task again and again? Okay, so what I'll do is I will make sure that whatever functionalities are common between parent and child, this is a child class. Okay, so let me write child class, and this is your parent class. Okay, so whatever functionalities are common, I will set that with parent class, and this is the concept of code reusability. But for that I'll have to give this instruction to the code that please set these functionalities from the parent class. And whenever you have to call the parent class, you have this function called super. You have this function called super. So whatever you do, super dot, super parent, super brackets dot will automatically make sure that it will call the parent, direct parent, okay, from which you are inheriting. So I will say super dot call the init function of super, call the init function of super, and you will only pass, you will not pass self, because self is already being handled by this code. Okay, you will only pass title and year, stating that title and year will be set by the parent initializer. Okay, so what remains to be initialized? Author, right? So I will say self dot author equals to author, self dot author equals to author. Okay, as simple as that. And let's say I define my own one more functionality, def, okay, which is display info, display info and self. Okay, so again, let's say parent class is also having this display info, so def display info. Okay, and here I will only display the attributes which are present in the parent class, okay, which is title and year. So I will say print parent, okay, your self dot title, title is self dot title and year is self dot year. Okay, and I'll go here, and instead of printing these two things, I will rely on my parent class for that. Again, code reusability. So I'll say super, okay, and call the display info, function of the parent class itself. Okay, and I will not pass any parameter because it is already having these, okay, via super. And now I will simply print child author is self dot author. Okay, why I'm printing this parent and child? So that I can help you understand which method is printing what attributes. Okay, very interesting, right? I'm trying to make it more easy for you. So self dot author. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's run this code. I think we have written this lengthy code for the very first time. Okay, indentation error. Give me a second. We are getting this indentation error where line number 17 means this. Okay, perfect. Self display info. Okay, it ran successful. Okay, some indentation error was there. So let's create a book object. So book one equals to, okay, book, okay, equals to book. Okay, and let's give the title, year and author to this book. Okay, so let's say the title is the almanac of Naval Ravikant. Okay, again, I am not giving the exact values. Okay, let's say the year of publish is 2010. Okay, and the author is Naval Ravikant. Okay, now just see what happens. Okay, if I call this, it will first go to the initializing function of book, because you are creating object of book, and this will call the init method of parent class by passing title and year to it, stating that you set the title and year for this particular book. Okay, then it will set the author for this book. Okay, so now you can check by printing display function. Okay, so you can say book one dot display info. Again, here also you have display info, here you also have display info. Okay, so I'll be teaching you this concept in some time, but if I call this, see the beauty. First, it will call this because you are calling this on book 1, so it will call the display info of specifically book object. But here inside you are calling the display info function of the parent specifically. So first parent is getting printed. Title is the almanac of Naval Ravikant and year is 2010. Then once it is ended, then you are printing child author is this. So child author is Naval Ravikant. Interesting, right? So this is the best way to understand the flow of the code, that what exactly is happening in this code. Okay, please practice this one more time and then I see you in the next session. So in short, inheritance is a way by which you can inherit the properties or the functionalities of one class into the child class. Okay, and then on the basis of that you can perform the code reusability idea, okay, which is very famous in programming, because you are writing code only once, you are writing this code only once and you are reusing it for every object. That's one of the most fascinating concepts about this. Okay, so I hope that you have found this helpful. See you in the next session. Thank you.